All right, it's 12:01. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our second week of our Dementia360 speaker series featuring thought leaders in Alzheimer's and dementia from the front lines. Alzheimer's disease and other dementias touch millions and millions of lives, from people living with the condition and their loved ones to professional caregivers and healthcare teams. I'm really looking forward to today's presentation in MindFit session by Michele Wile. Michele Wile has worked in the senior care world for over 11 years and is passionate about helping people age well. After completing her master's degree in social work with a focus on mental health and geriatrics, Michele worked in the greater Boston area to support families caring for a loved one with neurodegenerative health issues as they navigated the healthcare system in changing family dynamics. Michele began working at Home Care Assistance out of our La Jolla, California office as an interventionist in our cognitive therapeutics method, moving into a position developing enrichment content and training other facilitators across the country. In her current role as client care manager and dementia care expert, Michele is driven by a belief that each person's life history provides a roadmap to care planning and loves working with our clients to build from their unique experiences to enhance well-being in the mind, the body, and the spirit. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Michele. Welcome, Michele.
Thank you so much. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to run through with you today a MindFit session, which is something that I have the pleasure of leading a couple times a week in the senior communities that we work in. And we also use a lot of the same principles from the MindFit program in our one-on-one approach with individual clients. A lot of the activities translate from a group session into one-on-one session. So my goal today is to introduce you to the concept, talk a little bit about the information behind why we developed this. And then we're gonna do a MindFit just as we would in one of my classes. I'm leading one later today. So I'm gonna encourage you to answer questions in the chat box, just as my participants would in a live session, and that'll help give us the feel of a real session so you can see the flow. And it'll give you a little mind workout as well for your midweek point, which is always good. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Let me get our program up today. Okay. Let's see, and it looks like I should be sharing my screen now. I'm hoping that you can all see what's up on the screen there. So I always like to start presentations, and this is something that I started doing the last year, was just getting a little bit more personal. I know you just heard my professional bio, but in the spirit of Mind Fitness, which is about keeping ourselves engaged, relaxed, connecting socially and getting outside in nature. These are some personal photos of things that I like to do for my own Mind Fitness, which is, as you can see, going out and exploring the California coast. So it's important, and I always point this out in our classes. Mind Fitness doesn't exist just in formal classes and formal settings. Going out and exploring a new trail or trying a new restaurant, seeing something new. These are all great ways to get some mind fitness and add that in. So we love our classes, but also encourage everyone to just get out in the world and explore as well. All right, so something I like to do in my MindFit classes is just simple little exercises that break up the sessions. A little bit of movement not only helps participants' concentration, but it just kind of wakes us up. We're combining physical motion with direction, which is really great for the brain as well. So we'll do a couple of these throughout today. And these are fun icebreakers too. If you're doing groups in your professional field, you can bring some of these. Some are more challenging than others. This one, you're simply making an okay sign in one hand and a peace sign in the other, and you're switching which hand you're doing them in. So we're going to start like this, and then you'll switch. And you notice I'm pausing a little bit. I'm not great at this one. So I hope you're following along at home. I'm watching myself struggle here. So I hope everyone's also. The other thing that this does, and it's hard to do while you're talking as well, it gets our classes laughing. And oftentimes we're laughing a little bit at ourselves and our ability to do this. But I always like to start off class with laughter as much as possible. It kind of breaks the nerves a little bit for new participants who might be nervous about sharing or giving answers. And we kind of laugh at, not getting it exactly right. So a good way to start off for any classes, but especially those that you're doing in maybe a new group setting. So if you haven't seen any of the MindFit classes, we have some online on the Home Care Assistance channel. And if you're not in an area where a home care assistance staff member is putting these on, you can tune into YouTube. And the background of the MindFit classes is they were developed out of our cognitive therapeutics method, which has evolved into our balanced care method approach, which is how we approach setting up our care plans and ensuring that there's a holistic approach to providing care for the older adults that we serve in their homes. So we look at not just making sure that people are safe when they're doing their activities of daily living. We really want people to thrive and flourish in these 5 areas, which is connecting socially, having a sense of calm, and along with that, a sense of purpose. We look at nutrition, physical activity, and then of course, cognitive stimulation, which a lot of these other areas can also flow into cognitive stimulation, such as social engagement, a great way for you to get cognitive stimulation. So I'm going to go through the next few slides fairly quickly. This is more if you're going back through this presentation or you're watching it recorded for the first time, you can check out some of these links. And these are ones that we might highlight one of these each MindFit session. At the end of a MindFit class, I like to have something that we highlight from another domain of the balanced care method outside of just cognitive stimulation. All of these websites that you see here are ways for people to connect, and most of them are connecting virtually. At this point, we're still a little bit on lockdown, or our ability to get out is still a little bit tampered by the pandemic. So these are great ways to help seniors and anyone connect in the context of today. So we try to help people connect. We're also working on relaxation, and this might be something we throw up at the end of a MindFit class. I think I have one on the end today. Websites where you can easily, with a few clicks, get to like a body scan where you're relaxing all of your muscles, or just nature sounds where they walk you through a simple meditation. These are all free websites where you can find those resources. Again, some additional resources for nutrition. Another pillar of our balanced care method is movement. We sometimes bring in TED Talks to our MindFit classes. I'm not going to play one today because we have limited time, but our participants really connect with these TED Talks. They love to hear experts come in. And one of the best pieces of bringing in a TED Talk is not the talk itself, but the discussion that happens afterwards. So this is one of our favorite TED Talks, and it's about the way that your brain changes when you exercise. A great way to promote physical activity. And lastly, of course, we have our cognitive stimulation, or pillar that focuses on how do we enrich our lives with all these different activities, programming, new experiences. And for some people, that may also just mean simple ways to engage their senses as well. These are some more formal classes that people can take. But again, something as simple as taking a walk on a new path in your neighborhood where you're seeing new sights and hearing new sounds is great for cognitive stimulation. So that's an overview of the pillars that we focus on with our balanced care method, both in our one-on-one care and then also through our MindFit class. We try to bring in various components as well. We've got another challenge to break up our time here, and then we're going to move into our actual MindFit content. So here we've got one finger up on the other. This one I think is a little bit easier if I'm remembering. But again, we're just switching back and forth, and you can see how fast you can do it. You can challenge your coworkers to this later on today. Again, this is good for the brain. We're doing physical movement while following directions. We're also stretching out our fingers at the same time, so that's good for us as well. All right, so now we're going to get into our MindFit content. Again, this is something that I do weekly with a group of older adults. Typically, we have anywhere from 10 people to 30 people that join in these classes. And it's really enjoyable to see the answers that people give, the different life experiences that people have had. One area, we're not going to do this today, at the beginning of class, depending on what other activities people have in their, if they're in a facility setting or if they're in a community setting, we sometimes also bring in some physical activity, such as chair yoga or stretching at the beginning of the class. And here we're going to get into, so this is an exercise that we would typically start off with. Every session I start off with this exercise, and this is an alphabet soup. Let's see. This is simple. You can make these up on your own. Which is really nice with any category. And I'm going to give you some samples afterwards as well. Our goal here is to come up with a word related to government for each letter of the alphabet. So this is where I'm hoping to see some people are following along, and we'll give some chat answers in the presentation. So we're looking for words related to government. And here we've got our alphabet up on the screen. When we're doing this in class, we go through A through Z, so nobody skips ahead. And can anyone come up with a word related to government starting with the letter A? Anyone have a word related to government starting with the letter A? Oh, great. Monica said assembly. I heard assembly, and people in our classes just call all of these out. So I'm usually scrambling to get them up on the board. But I'm going to see if I can use let's see. So we have assembly for letter A. How about letter B? Can anyone come up with a word related to government? Oh, Christine put action. That's great. I heard bill from Debbie for B. Armando has capital for C. How about letter D? Any words related to government starting with a letter D? We've got Democrat. And I think you all are going to have a laugh when you see some of the answers. I did this with a group a couple weeks ago, and I wrote down all of their answers so I could give you a sense of what answers we're getting from a group. This is about 20 people, 20 seniors that I work with. So they have some they get into very colorful language sometimes. Anyone have something for letter E, a word related to government? Letter E. Letter E, a word related to government. Ooh, good one, Megan. Executive branch. And Wilma has economy. Excellent. I like that. How about letter F? Anything for letter F? And usually in our classes, we have people calling out answers, and then they're also critiquing each other's answers. Oh, these are really good ones. Foreign affairs and filibuster. Excellent. In addition, they're usually also critiquing my handwriting and spelling. So I get knocked down a few pegs on these classes as well. It's good for my ego. Wilma with another one, federal. Excellent, Wilma. And Fatima's going on to G already. We've got governor. Very good. All right. Okay, so in the interest of time, but we go through A through Z. I start every class this way. One of the great things about this exercise is it's pretty failure free. The nice thing is if somebody doesn't quite get the instructions and they call it an answer that's, maybe they call out something for letter S. Let's see, somebody put up in the chat box for R, they put Republican. So we're not quite on R yet, but it doesn't matter. I would just say, oh, that's such a good one for R. I'm going to hold on to that one. And I might even, put it up on the board. And then when we get to R, I can say, oh, Steve had a great one earlier for R. So we're not calling attention to anyone that's, not quite following the rules. We try to do a lot of open-ended questions in the MindFit classes, and it really encourages everybody to participate, which is great. So I'm going to move on from this one. Thank you, everyone who answered. You have great answers. I hope everyone keeps this up for all the other programs as well, or the other activities. So this is up on the screen, what you're seeing now is the answers that were given by one of the classes that I lead about 2 weeks ago. And like I said, they come up with some colorful answers sometimes. I don't censor them unless they're inappropriate, but we're all, adults giving answers here. So they'll say things like corruption and crook and some other words as well. And we laugh, we joke, we have a great time. That's a big part of these classes as well. But you can see we get a lot of robust answers in this activity. I'm gonna move on. Let's see if I can, there we go. Okay. Just to show you a little bit of how we change the level of the class. So the slide that I just showed you was answers from a class that is participants coming from independent living. Of course, there's various cognitive levels from people who are average functioning to people who may be starting to have some cognitive changes. And so we try to keep it kind of accessible to everyone, but for a class that I'm leading in an assisted living or a memory support setting, I may pick a category from easy or moderate versus challenging. So you can adjust the level fairly easy on these activities. And I tried to pick things in this presentation today that you could also do one-on-one with someone. This would be very easy to grab a notebook, come up with a category, and sit down and see what you can come up with your loved one or someone that you're helping to assist in a one-on-one setting. Another favorite activity that we do is a picture word search. These are great because, again, you're just having people call out various answers, and there's no right or wrong, really. We put this in the failure-free category as well. And you can do a little bit of reminiscing as well. So I always like to ask people throughout if this picture brings up any memories, especially in smaller groups. Our participants will talk about like when they got their first pet. I'll always ask people for this picture in particular, have you ever had a pet at home that gave birth to a litter, or have you ever cared for kittens when they were really young? How did your parents feel about you getting your first pet? Were they, involved, or did you care for them on their own? Those sorts of questions can come up with these visual aids. And I'll give you a list of different artists that we like to use for this in particular. So I'm gonna invite you all to use the chat again. And can anyone come up with a word that you see in this represented in this picture that starts with an S or a P? And I think, let's see, I see, oh, people are already getting into this one. I see stripes, plate, stairs, excellent, pipe, Dad's got a pipe. I can circle them as we go on this one, I believe. Let's see, highlighter, there we go. Oh, no, my writing isn't working on this one. Wow. We've got a lot of good answers here. I'll try one more time. Okay, we've got pipe. Parents here, we've got a plate or a saucer. Excellent. Sun, we've got a sun here. Very good. I heard stripes earlier. And this is kind of how we work through. We've got stairs along the side here. What else? I heard somebody said skirt. Very good. Sister, we've got a sister. Excellent. Very good. And a lot of times, this is the difference between, let's see, people are wearing shoes. Between your maybe memory support or assisted living classes and an independent living, you're going to get more concrete examples, things that you can actually see, and then some a little bit more of like an abstract concept like parents or sister from your a little bit higher functioning groups. Shoes are in there. And that's not a judgment on anyone who gave those answers. We get a mix of all of these answers in the classes. Anything else? I try to give a lot of hints as well in the classes. I heard puppy, that's a great one. Storage, yeah, it looks like they're storing a bunch of things down below. What else? How about, it looks like next to someone identified the saucer there, and it looks like there's something on the floor. What's the word that we could use for that that starts with the letter S? Maybe anyone see that? I kind of drew over it with my pen, but there's a saucer there, and it looks like something's on the floor. Maybe yes, Armando got it. So that is a spill there on the bottom. And again, that's how we work through. If I have a quieter class, we give lots of hints and clues, which is my brain workout for the class as well. It always keeps me on my toes. So we're going to move forward on this one. Thank you again, everyone, for your answers. We can see how many we got here. I think we did pretty well. A lot of these answers, I'll go back in and put answers from the class. So someone a couple weeks ago came up with subterranean because they're in a basement. I mean, I'm astonished sometimes with what our participants come up with. You can see they're very creative. All right. And you can do this on your own. Again, this is a great activity. You can pull this up on the internet at any time. Some of the artists that we use in this exercise are Norman Rockwell, of course, John Philip Falter, Stephen Johannos, George Hughes. A lot of these artists were on the famous Saturday Evening Post covers, and they tend to have easy to view, simple Americana type scenes that have lots of different things going on. And so you can easily come up with a long list of letters. Okay, we're gonna do another exercise. This one we have a lot of fun with. It's called the title challenge. And for example, let's see, if I give you the title, these are book titles, and we've simply used some synonyms to swap out and adjust their name or the title of the book. But we're trying to come up with what the popular title would have been. So again, you can use the chat box here. And the example is The Unattractive Mallard, and Catherine got it. She has The Ugly Duckling. Let's see if we can move on. There we go. All right. So The Ugly Duckling title reimagined is The Unattractive Mallard. And so this is an answer. These are answers where people will guess a bunch of different things. I'm always really congratulatory just for guessing. So people sometimes they start getting close to it, and I'll say, oh, you've got part of it. Okay, let's use the duckling piece, and then we just have to get the rest of it. So they're working together to come up with the answers, which is really great. All right, let's see if we can get some more on here. Okay, so the another first question, or number one, is tiny ladies. Does anyone have a guess of what that would be? Catherine, again, this might be her specialty. And Lorraine, Little Women is correct for tiny ladies. Little Women. How about God of the Bugs? Megan got it. Lord of the Flies is God of the Bugs. Excellent. A Story About Multiple Metropolises. Jen got that one. It is A Tale of Two Cities for number 3. And number 4 is A Portion Prefer Heat. And I think some of these are movie titles as well. Katie got that one. Some Like It Hot. Excellent. How about Vocalizing in the Precipitation? Vocalizing in the Precipitation. A couple of people got that one. It is Singing in the Rain. Excellent. Again, some of these are songs or movies, musicals even. Number 6 is the Paternal Deity. Excellent. The Godfather is what we're looking for on that one. And how about number 7? It's a Great Existence. Wonderful. It's a Wonderful Life. A couple of people got that one as well. Thank you everyone for putting in these answers. This is, so as you can, if you can imagine doing a MindFit class, people are calling these out all at the same time. And you're trying to, juggle all the answers. And again, the MindFit class is as much about socializing in a group. It also can be a great confidence booster. I see participants leave class and they seem to feel really good about the answers that they've gotten. It's always great to get an answer that nobody else could come up with. And people, congratulate each other and high five each other. And so it's a really fun thing to see. A great confidence booster and morale booster as well. And again, this is an exercise that you can do if you're at home with someone and they've got a wall full of books. You can grab a couple and you might try to, think of ones that are easy to do in your head and get a pile of books and say, what if we renamed these? What could another title be for this book? Again, another way that you can bring this into someone's home. So this is an example of that. You can try it in reverse. Can anyone come up with a reverse, an opposite, or not an opposite, but a different title for The Sound of Music? What could we rename The Sound of Music that conveys the same message? The Music of Sound. Excellent. Very good. Switch it up a little bit. I like that one. Anyone else have one for The Sound of Music or The Catcher in the Rye? We can open up to either of these. Let's see. I think I'm missing one. Or Let Me Call You Sweetheart. Does anyone have any other reimagined titles? Debbie said Hearing the Songs for The Sound of Music. That's a good one. How about The Catcher in the Rye? That one's a little bit more difficult. Can anyone come up with an alternate title for The Catcher in the Rye? I'm not sure what our group came up. I'm trying to think of what they came up with for that one. I think someone came up with Capturing the Wheat in one of our classes for The Catcher in the Rye. But you get the gist. Again, we're just playing with language. We're asking people to think in new and different ways. And anytime you give someone instructions that they haven't heard before, they have to formulate a way that they're going to come up with the answers. So whether it's identifying synonyms first and then trying to piece them together, that is where the brain workout piece comes in. You're working through, how am I going to come up with this answer or formulate this this answer. Okay. All right, we've got another drawing challenge here. So this one, again, we can kind of shake out our hands a little bit and get some movement in. This might be halfway through one of our MindFit sessions. And for this one, we're drawing a triangle with our one hand. This is kind of like the pat your belly and rub your head type of exercise. So you're drawing a triangle and you're trying to draw a circle in the other hand at the same time. And you see your hands will slowly start making a circle in both. Again, this gets everybody laughing. It kind of gives a break between exercises. And then you can reverse. So you're doing a triangle with one and a circle with the other. I hope you're all doing this at home and having a good laugh at yourself, not just me. All right, so moving on, this is another staple exercise that we do at every MindFit class. We'll just do a couple of these so you get a feel for it. These are pretty open-ended questions. Again, it encourages another thing that happens when you do the open-ended questions like alphabet soup or finding the words on the paintings is it allows for somebody who processes questions faster or slower than the person sitting next to them to still participate. When you have questions that only have one answer, if you have one really sharp participant that just excels in these type of exercises, they'll answer every single question and nobody else gets a chance. So as much as possible, we try to have multiple answer questions so that someone who takes 20 seconds to process the question still has time to give their answer, which is great. That's what we are looking for in the MindFit class. So our first question is, name something that you open every day. Name something that you open. Oh, and I think I skipped the first one. So thank you, Catherine. The example question was name something you lose. And Catherine said temper, which is a good one. Name something you open every day. Debbie said mail. We're going back and forth on the first and second question. Keys is a good answer for something you lose. Name something you open every day. Door, definitely the mail, definitely the door. What else do you open every day? Your eyes, we hope so. You might open your eyes every day, or you do open your eyes every day. The fridge, most of us open the fridge to get something to eat. What else? How about something we're doing right now by participating in this this presentation? What are we opening? Yes, Debbie got it. We're opening our minds. Someone else said the microwave. You open your phone to check your messages. Absolutely. And so you can see some people, they have 10 answers right away, and other people, it's taking a little bit longer. This is a good representation of what our group looks like. So usually we spend, at least 30 seconds to a minute on each question. Someone else said we open our eyes. That's a great answer. Very good. All right, so let's see. And then there's always some routine answers that we put up, and the classes like to get competitive with the program answers, and we'll see how many of them we got. So we got door, eyes, mail, and your mind. I don't think anyone said mouth. So that's a good one. And we try to give hints too it helps me with giving hints because I can look ahead a slide and give hints from the next one. Okay, I'm gonna skip some of these. Let's see. This is a good one. Name something parents tell their children not to waste. Oh, open hands, that's a good one. Name something parents tell their children not to waste. I'm seeing time from a couple of people. Food is definitely one. Nobody wants to throw out any food. What else did parents tell people not to waste? Got another answer for time. Don't waste your life. That's a good one. Absolutely. We don't want to waste, put it up here, time, food, your life, opportunities, electricity, put a light bulb on here. Paper, that's a good one. Don't waste the soap. I have to tell my 3-year-old that all the time. Pump after pump. Soap is a good one. And along with that, water, H2O. Don't waste your money. Excellent. Very good. Any others? All right, that's a great list. Okay, so we're going to see what, don't waste your breath. That's a good one. All right, so they have water, electricity, food, money, and time. I think we were 5 out of 5 on that one. So we should all feel really good. And then I have a talk about it section on here. And normally these are just questions that come up kind of organically for a lot of our participants who are in their 90s, late 80s. They were growing up, if they weren't involved themselves in World War II, they may have been children at that time, and they were conserving resources to help with the war effort. So this is something that comes up while we're talking about this, and we're going through and reminiscing or talking about the ways that people conserved resources, like the stamps that they had to use for rationing, or the victory gardens where they grew their own food. So peppered throughout the MindFit class, we're also doing a lot of looking back and sharing stories as well, and letting people take some time to share stories. And that's where that socializing and connecting piece comes in as well. All right, let's see what else we have in store for us. Okay, so we're coming closer to wrapping up. I think we have a time for 1 or 2 more exercises so that we have a little bit of time if anyone has questions at the end. This next exercise is called What's That Saying? And you're taking picture clues, so visual cues from the image on the screen that help you come up with a common phrase or saying, like an idiom. So the example here is a globe on the screen, and the phrase is, it's a small world. Yes, we've got that one. It's a small world. Excellent. Very good. Okay, let's see. There we go. It's a small world. Excellent. Okay, here we've got another one. So we have a picture of a woman walking, and then we also have a bird. And this is where in class I try to tease out the answers if no one's coming up with them. So does anyone know what kind of bird that is? And we try to come up with it. It's a blue jay. And from there, I might identify that, okay, the word they're looking for that picture is jay. And let's combine it with the other picture. What phrase could we come up with? And a couple people put in the chat, jaywalking, and that is the phrase that we're looking for here. Okay, excellent. All right, now this is a phrase that I don't think is used as much. So we'll see if someone can come up with it. We've got 3 pictures. The first picture is of a scale. Second picture is of a head. And then our third picture is of a crown. And part of the reason I also narrate our images is that we have participants that have varying levels of vision ability. And so I want to make sure if people have low vision or they have difficulty distinguishing the pictures, that they can also participate. I had a participant in one class that was legally blind, and I would narrate the pictures and she would come up with the answers faster than anyone else in the class. It was really amazing. So any guesses on this one? Jen got this one. It is, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Excellent. And some additional clues I might have given with this one are when you're using a scale, the side that is lowest is measuring or showing that something is what compared to the highest side. So we go through and kind of talk out the words to tease out the answers on this one. This is, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Very good. Okay. But this one's pretty straightforward. People always ask me what that picture is on the left or on my left. It is supposed to be a bag of potato chips. which might help you out. So we've got a bag of potato chips and an X-ray. Catherine got this one. It is a chip on your shoulder. Very good. Someone's got a chip on their shoulder. Excellent. All right. I think we've got time for one more. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. So we have a road going across our screen here. Someone's stomach or intestines highlighted there, and then a heart at the end of the road. Can anyone come up with a phrase related to these three images? I know someone's formulating this one out there. We've got a road leading to a heart, and the stomach is on the way. They're going through the stomach if you're following the road. Any guesses here? This one is stumping us. So this one, you would say this if perhaps someone is in a relationship where they're cooking a lot for their partner. Jen got it, and Gail, excellent. The way to your husband's heart is through his stomach. Jen said the way to my heart is through my stomach. I like that you used those words, because I would say the same thing. The way to my heart is definitely through my stomach. In our household, my partner is the cook, so it's definitely me that's going to the heart with the food that's presented. All right, very good. Okay, and then again, every single one of these questions you can have a conversation about. Has anyone found this to be true? Who's the cook in your family? Was it you, or is it your partner? You know, when you're cooking, do you follow a recipe, or do you just make it up yourself? And you can go down a path of discussion, you know, depending on the vibe of your class that day. So we're going to skip forward a bit here. I'm going to skip through some of our other questions. Okay, and I think this is our last exercise that's on the program today. This one's called Wordpick, and we'll do this in our class setting. Sometimes I pass out notebook paper and pencils. And you can do this with, again, a book or a magazine. If you're in a doctor's office, this is a great little way that you can challenge yourself. Grab a magazine or a book, randomly circle 5 words on a page, and create a story. You don't have to do it in 5 sentences, but basically in a paragraph, create a story using those five words. And this is one that we did in class not too long ago. Before I move on, well, I can move on to the next slide, but I'll point out, in addition to the MindFit class, we also try to bring in or recommend resources for in-home usage that provide cognitive stimulation. Reminisce magazine is a great resource for that. So you can look that up and order it. It's, you know, maybe $12 for an annual subscription. I think you get 6 magazines a year, but it just has little short stories and vignettes that connect people to their childhood or young adulthood. This is a story that one of our participants wrote using these words, and you can read through it and look. It's just it's a creative exercise. I was surprised when we first started doing this exercise that it was really well received. I wasn't sure how people would take this. Usually I have to cut people off because there's so many people that want to share their story. Usually they're often pretty silly stories. So it also gets us laughing. Another good workout for the mind. So this person had a goat that ate their boot and they have no memory. but he hopes that the goat enjoyed his tasty treat at the end. So this is where we would end, typically wrap up our presentation. I mentioned earlier, this is all based on our balanced care method. So while we do spend the bulk of the MindFit class on our cognitive exercises, we also try to bring in other pieces like nutrition tips. And so this is a simple just reminder to make sure you're getting enough water, make sure that you're drinking water. Dehydration can also mimic signs of cognitive decline like confusion, lack of clarity, difficulty making decisions. So make sure that you're getting water. And then sometimes we'll bring in exercises for relaxation, such as breathing for calmness. So on here you can see our square breathing exercise and nostril breathing, where you're simply breathing in through one nostril and then switching sides. And just doing that, physical, where you're thinking about, which finger you're putting on your nose and switching, allows us to relax our mind and focus on our breathing. So I would recommend either of these exercises. We do them at the end of class, just as a brief little exercise. And there's a link on here down below if you want to see some other breathing exercises as well. It's a good way for us to end our class and go back out into the world at the end of our MindFit class. All right, so that is a sample of what our MindFit program looks like with some additional resources. On this slide as well, I linked to 2 different companies that have great products that you can bring into the home to get at some of the features of our balanced care method. So another thing for you to take away and look up on your own time. And thank you everyone for all of the robust answers and creative answers that you gave in the chat box. That was really fun.
Well, thanks, Michelle. That was a lot of fun. I agree. Great way to break up the day. Does anyone have any questions? You can type it into the chat. I see one right here, or the Q&A box. We are recording this session, and we will be posting it on a playlist on our YouTube channel, and that will be sent out to everyone tomorrow. So anyone who registered for this event, I know a lot of people register and things come up, they can't attend. So that will be going out to everyone tomorrow so that you will be able to access this presentation. You're getting a lot of love.
Oh, good. Yay. I think someone asked about getting the slides or the links that are on the slides. So I'm assuming that we can blast out to everyone. I can do a sheet that has all of the links that are included throughout. And that way you don't have to watch through and try to write everything down, but you can just link right from a document.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. If you could share that, we'll put that into the email tomorrow, and then that'll be easy. Good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Any other questions? Lots of great feedback.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you again for your for chiming in. It makes it really fun. And it was a good representation of the rapid fire we get at some of our classes.
Absolutely.
I missed your answer. I apologize, but people get pretty determined that I heard their answer. So they'll keep calling it out until I get to them. We get kind of rowdy in the classes sometimes, you can imagine.
I know, I can imagine. All right, well, everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.